Hello, it's me, Vicky Marie. I hadn't pressed live. I've been talking to you all. I'm wondering why I didn't come up on my laptop. But of course, it helps if you press the live button, doesn't it? So I didn't get the intro, in fact, I'm going to just do the short intro then. Because I like to do the intro. Short intro. Okay, that's enough. So yeah, so I was chatting away to everybody, looking at my laptop and thinking, why is it not coming up on my laptop? Because I like to keep an eye on what I've got coming up. And then I could see you saying, everyone was chatting and that. Anyway, I'm live now. So hope you've all had a good day. Sunday, I've had a bit of a strange day. Anyway, I've had some sun, took the dogs out. Watched a bit of Dexter, did a live earlier, didn't I, on John Paul Twonk, the Twonky pastor. So I still haven't recovered from watching that, I don't think. Yeah, done some housework, those interesting, exciting things that unfortunately do have to be done. Done a bit of washing, done a bit of cleaning. Nothing exciting, but nice, and a bit of sunbathing. So let me say hello to everyone. I hope you're all ready for this quiz. So in the end, what I decided to do, I thought, we'd stay on theme because it is a true crime channel after all. And I thought we'd do a true crime quiz. So there's a bit of all sorts in here. And, it'd be interesting to see how you get on with it. Now, what all I've done really is I've taken various different quizzes off the internet and we're going to go through them. Now, you have to be honest. I'm relying on you. I'm going to keep a score as well. For each one you get right, I mean, when I put a question up, we'll have a little debate about it and then we'll see what the answer is. I don't know the answers to, I haven't looked at the answers for these. We'll have a little debate about and we'll put whatever answer in that we decide on and it'll tell us if we're right or not. But you have to be honest with yourself. Just get yourself a pen and paper and just keep a record of how many you get right. And I'm just relying on your honesty. And I don't even know how many there are in total. But at the end, you can all just say how many you got right. And we'll come up with a winner that way, which, when I say a winner, there is no prize. The prize is getting to spend a couple of hours with all these lovely chatters. That's the prize. We've all got first prize, spending a couple of hours together. But hopefully it'll be a bit of fun. That's the idea, isn't it? That it'll be a bit of fun. Now, so far, I'm actually on coffee because it's not been that long since I woke up from a little nap. So I had a coffee, but I have got some wine in the fridge. I will be having a wine later. Gone off wine later. Lately. I don't know what it is. It just tastes so sweet. I think it's just I've got to find a new drink that I like, or just stop drinking, I suppose. But no, why not? But I don't know what it is. Just when I drink wine, it just tastes sweet. And I'm drinking, it's not that I'm drinking a different wine than I've drunk before or whatever. So I don't understand why. But anyway, beer in the sun, that was nice. But yeah, maybe I'm just going off alcohol. I don't know. About time. Anyway, I'm going to light a candle, actually, first of all. So we light the candle because we haven't forgotten about the cases that we're following. It's just all been a bit heavy lately, hasn't it? It's all a bit depressing. I know this is going to be a true crime quiz, but we'll have a bit of fun along the way, won't we? See if you really are a true crime aficionado. I know there's some of you out there. Obviously, you've found my channel through true crime, so presumably that's why, presumably you are into true crime, or it may be just one particular case that attracted you, so maybe you're not really that into true crime or whatever. Personally, I found once you get into true crime, it's like compelling, just the psychology of what people will do to each other in the real world. Oh, that's something else that I watched today. I watched a bit of Dexter on Netflix, but I also watched a couple of Agatha Christie, Miss Marple sort of things on, I think it was ITV4 or something like that. Well, actually one, not a couple. I started watching the next one and I didn't like that one. Because I do quite like a bit of Miss Marple. I like a bit of Columbo. I don't really like Poirot very much. It's not my favourite series. But, from crime series, like... but I've found that since I've got into true crime, except for when I want a bit of escapism, that would be when I would watch. I love Columbo. I can watch Columbo over and over again. I should have done a quiz on Columbo. I would have got everyone right, I think, because it's like Columbo's like something that I'd watch. I used to watch it with my dad years ago, and it's just silly, isn't it? So it's fun to watch, and I like watching it and seeing all the old-fashioned things like him smoking and the old-fashioned phones and computers. And what would Columbo? They need to bring Columbo out again, don't they? A new type of Columbo, similar type series. What would he have made of all the DNA and everything? Phone data these days and that. I like watching it for that. It's entertaining, to see how it used to be years ago. Well, on the telly at least. So no CSI then, was there? It's like it's fun. So sometimes for a bit of escapism, I do like to watch those silly sort of detective programs, etc. Okay, so now I'm going to say hello to everybody. I've had a little waffle. I'm going to say hello to you all. Let me know if you're having a little drinky poos tonight. Hi, Chumba. Hi, David. Hi, Simon. Hi, Laurie. Oops, someone is messaging me. Hi, Desi. Hope you're well. Hi, Rio. Hope you're feeling better. Oh, it's just a notification to tell me that I'm live. Hi, Charlie. No cheating. Hi, Wendy. Oh, you've got a storm in Manchester. I thought the weather was supposed to be better now. Oh dear, I hope everything's okay. Yeah, no Google. Hi, Jean. Jean's good at quizzes. Rio, you've got a mega storm here as well. Oh my God. That's like the, because it was all that funny sky, the Northern Lights, weren't they? That's like the electric storm. Oh, so your dog's worried, Rio. Yeah, I'll tell you, Princess Tia, the big dog, and she's the most scared one in our house when there's storm. She hates it. She doesn't like the loud music. Hi, Mello. No, I wasn't still doing my lippy. What I was doing was talking to myself when I pressed the button of going live. I could have done the whole quiz without even realising I wasn't live if I didn't have this bloody laptop. Tropical monsoon in Manchester. Oh, do you know? I know it's not nice, but it sounds like it's hot in here tonight. for the first time, I've thought, because I've got the windows closed for noise, really. You know, it's like it's noisy enough when I have the windows closed. So I don't open them because of the noise from outside on the street. And I've got the blinds down and whatever, because it's still sunny outside. But I was just thinking tonight, I thought, I almost put a fan on. Nearly. So it's starting to, it's always round about the middle of May, it starts to heat up in Spain. Hi, Daniel. It'll be unbearable soon. I can another time, Chumba. I can't now because I haven't loaded it up. Large cupboard. Laurie's saying, large cupboard, put a blanket on it. Hi, Julie. Hope you're feeling well. DMV. Hi, DMV. Oh, everybody's here. Yeah. Pen these days. Listen, Mello, I'm old school. I still use a pen and paper. And I tell you what, my students who learn Spanish, if you try, honestly, writing things down helps you remember them. And you've got a latte, Charlie. Charlie's got a latte. Nobody got a little beer or a vino or anything? Oh, 2 donuts Charlie's got. Julie's been watching Poirot. Columbo, Des has been watching. Hi, Sam. Yeah, I remember Quincy wasn't one of my favourites, I'm afraid. Hi, BF. Yes, I like, God, what was that called with Jessica Fletcher? The Murder, She Wrote. Yeah, that's all right, but not my favourite either. But it's all right. And I never really liked Midsummer Murders either. Funny, isn't it, really, what you like and what you don't like? Like recent ones, I quite like Vera, but it's all right. I think what the problem is that the more recent ones, now that I've got into true crime, watching the detective sort of series and things, it just, because those things are never as God, you know, truth is definitely stranger than fiction. You know, you watch those things and you think, God, you know, the things that happen in real life are even more dramatic, aren't they? Hi, Heather. Wendy's drinking tea. No, hi, Kelly Drydale. So nobody's got Chumba's got Vimto. Hi, Amethyst. Nobody's got a vino. Even DMV's not having a vino or a beer. No, nobody's having a. Okay, maybe I won't have a vino then. I'll be good like everybody else. Oh, Desi, sorry to hear your son's been poorly. Yes, I've got my Christmas halo on. Julia, I just thought I'd put something on a little bit different. It's not fallen yet. I've still got a little cough, you know. I think they just linger in these bugs. Okay. Oh, Julie. Good. I'm glad you're here as well, Julie. Lemon water. Oh, heart to heart. Yes, I like that. Banner check. I don't really remember. I sort of vaguely remember, but oh, Taggart. Yeah. I can't do the accent. There's been a murder. I can't do it. I can't do the Scottish accent. God. Yeah, I like the original one. Yeah. Yeah, Taggart was good. Sherlock Holmes was good. Oh, yeah, streets of San Francisco. Enjoyed that. Oh, we should be having a bloody quiz on crime shows. Dixon of Dog Green, David says. Oh my God, you should go back in the. Was that the very first sort of crime? Oh, the bill, of course, then there was the bill. And we've all missed you, Julie. We do miss each other. The bronze chalice out. Yeah, I don't know. It's not like me to go off wine, but there you go. It's good though. It's good if I don't drink, to be honest. Kojak Chumba. Oh my God, we are going back. Oh, Starsky Hutch. Starsky Hutch, Cagney and Lacey. Amethyst having Prosecco. It's 7:30 precisely, is it? Precisely. Mudda. It was Mudda. I can't do a Scottish accent. I can speak a bit of Scottish and know some Scottish words. You know, like messages, going to get your messages, and blethering, and you get. Oh God, what was that one for a vest? Was it a gimmet or something? But yeah, I know a few Spanish words, but I can't do the accent. The Sweeney, Miami Vice, said cars. The professionals, yeah, they were really good. Yeah. Coaching. Don't know. So Heather's had a drink. So when I am going to have some wine in a minute, maybe after in fact, I might go and get one before we start. Chips. Yeah, I didn't really watch Chips, but I remember it. Yeah. So from the sound of it, the quiz we should be having is on true crime shows because everyone seems to know about Tatty. What was that, Jean? Say Totty Scone. Totty Scone, or is it Tatty Scone? Neat. I don't know. I did have I've had a couple of Scottish boyfriends actually, from Glasgow. So I have learned, as I say, a few Spanish words, a few Scottish words, but I can't really do the accent at all. But I do like the accent. Do like the Scottish accent. So nearly. Right. Okay. So get prepared. In fact, what I think I'll do, a posh Scottish person. Well, you know, when I went to Glasgow with one of my paramours, I've been a couple of times, but we went in this pub. Now I want to call it a bar, but it's because of living in Spain. We went in this pub, and he said to me, "Don't open your mouth," because we were in some area that wasn't very nice area. I don't even know why we were at this pub. I can't even remember. But anyway, he said, "Don't say anything. Don't speak." I'm like, but anyway, I can't not speak. So I ended up chatting. Nobody was funny with me. You know, it was fine. It's like, you know, it wasn't like, oh God, get out, you English person. You know, they were lovely. They were really friendly. So there you go. Yeah, I do like Scotland. It's a very beautiful place. You know, the greenery is beautiful. Anyway, so what I'm going to do, where are you going, Heather? Where are you going? You mean you're going to Scotland or you're going? I don't know what it was called, David, but it was in Dumbarton. Don't know if you know Dumbarton, but I can't remember the name of the pub. But it was in Dumbarton. Means nothing to me, those areas. We went to some nice areas as well. We went to, you know, the West End is nice, isn't it? We went to, oh God, I can't even remember. What is it? I don't know anything about Dumbarton. This is what I was saying the other day, wasn't it? In a video I was saying, when you go somewhere and you don't know an area, you're totally oblivious to whether it's a nice area, rough area, whether you're safe, whether you're not safe. But you know what? You never know where you're safe. At the end of the day, you can be not safe in nice areas. So, you know, you've just got to sort of take people as you find them, haven't you? You know, and I always get chatting to someone. And we went to Edinburgh, and I was chatting to these two women at the bus stop. We were waiting for a bus. I don't know where we can't remember why we were waiting for a bus. But and again, he's going, don't say anything, don't speak to him, because there were these women that I was chatting to. They were a bit worse for wear. You know, they'd either been drinking. I think one of them had a can actually with her own. She may have been taking drugs or whatever. But, you know, she just started telling me a life story, and I just felt really sorry for her. So, anyway. Yeah, Cracker was good as well. Cracker was good. The Wire. Oh, Luther. I love Luther. Luther's one of my favourites. Okay, let's get on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read you a couple of questions. Then I'm going to go and get a glass of wine probably, so you can have a think about the questions. Yeah, sometimes rough areas, they're, you know, the people, they're not always horrible people, you know what I mean? Yeah, I think it depends how you treat people. People, you know, there are some twonks, obviously, but you meet twonks in nice areas as well. You know, just because someone's got money and lives in a nice house, as we've seen recently with many cases that we've been looking at, doesn't mean say they're a nice person, does it? Right, I'm going to give you 3 questions and see if you have a little think about while I go and get a glass of vino. So question number one is, which serial killer, and you shouldn't really give the other people the answer, not in the beginning anyway. Which serial killer enjoyed dressing up as a clown? I need a pen myself. I'm telling you all to get a pen and paper. I haven't got one myself. Which serial killer enjoyed dressing up as a clown and working at charity events? Number 2, the St. Valentine's Day Massacre is associated with which famous criminal? And number 3, which man was the most prolific known serial killer in United States history? So you've got 3 questions there while I go and get my vino. Which serial killer enjoyed dressing up as a clown and working charity events? The St. Valentine's Day Massacre is associated with which famous criminal? And which man was the most prolific known serial killer in United States history? That's your starter for 10. Starter for 10. That's your first 3 questions. Okay, let's have a look at the chat. What have we come up with so far? Is it still talking about the true crime shows? Julie's heating up a sausage and mash for tea. Okay, people are saying things in the chat instead of writing it down. But anyway, so let's get back again. So the first one, so who do we think was the serial killer who dressed up as a clown? I can see that a lot of you have got it right. Stephen King. Sorry, it's making me laugh. The third had one eye. Okay, right. So I think most of us probably know, and I can see from what you write down, that the serial killer who liked dressing up as a clown, I think I've done a video on him, I can't remember. If anything comes up in here that you say, oh, that'd be interesting to have a video about those, let me know and I'll write it on my list. God knows when I'll fit it in, what with everything that's going on all the time. But, you know, I'm always wanting to new cases. I still want to get around to the last one in that in the series, Family Annihilators, which is Chris Watts, but I'll get around to that sooner or later. So the first one is John Wayne Gacy. Definitely John Wayne Gacy. We know that. The second one, which criminal? Not all these questions, by the way, are about serial killers and what have you. In this particular one, is crime in general. So I think the one that you're going to get wrong is number 3. But anyway, number 2, the St. Valentine's Day Massacre is associated with which famous criminal? Well, of course, a lot of you have said the right person, which is Al Capone. Now, the one I think you might get wrong, which man was the most prolific known serial killer in United States history? What have we got for that? Oh, Sam Little. He's one I haven't done a video on, Sam Little. That's not the right answer. But, yeah. Charlie, that's a good guess, but it's not Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy, you would think, wouldn't you? It's not Ted Bundy. So what about number 3? Who's number 3? Who's the most prolific killer in American serial killer history? No, not Charles. I don't think actually Charles Manson didn't kill anybody, funnily enough. Chumbo got other people to do it for him, didn't he? He was a little twonk. He was a little button mushroom guy. He didn't. So no. So the person who's the most prolific killer was Gary Ridgway. Hi, Audbod. Yep, Gary Ridgway. He is the most prolific killer in American serial killer history. And I don't think they even know the total. I know, Heather, you keep telling me to go to Las Vegas. I need to do a GoFundMe for it. I don't think it should go down. The GoFundMe send Vicki to Las Vegas and she'll do some really good videos. Oh, dear. Okay, let's have the next 3. These are quite difficult, I think. Anyway, in Chicago, criminal H.H. Holmes had a house in Chicago that eventually bore which nickname? Now, this was a serial killer that I know, again, I know as for a fact, have not done a video on this serial killer. It's quite an old, it's quite old cases. But he was called H.H. Holmes, as in Sherlock Holmes. And he had a house in Chicago that eventually bore which nickname? Now, I can give you a choice of 3. Now, I don't know the answer to this. I'm going to guess at it. So, it was either the Dungeon, Murder Castle, or Fraudville. The Dungeon, Murder Castle, or Fraudville. Where do you get the answers for these? Just wondering where they put the answer, because I don't actually know the answer to that. I might have to Google the answer when we're come to the bit. Anyway, so anybody know anything about HHOs? Last house on the left. So it's either Fraudville, the Dungeon, or the Murder House. I would guess the Murder House. Andrew Snowden. Oh dear. Oscar Pistorius. Oscar Pistorius only killed his, well, say only killed his girlfriend. He wasn't a serial killer. I would say the Murder House. So is everyone said their answer? Because I'm going to Google it, because the answers actually don't come up on this. Mellow, the Dungeon's always drawing you in, Mellow, isn't it? Right, okay, let's see. So it was a Murder Castle. Murder Castle was the name of his house. So if you've got Murder Castle, give yourself another tick. Murder Castle was the answer to that one. So remember, you're keeping your own scores. So no, if you lose track, anyway, it doesn't really matter. But if you lose track of your score, I'm not responsible for that. Okay. Now, this is an interesting one. These are interesting because some of these are people I've not heard of myself. So which serial killer claimed that a demonic dog commanded him to commit murder? So you're talking about a serial killer that claimed a demonic dog commanded him to commit murder. And you've got 3 choices. You've got the choice of Dennis Rader, who's the bind, torture, kill guy, who have done a video on him, definitely. David Berkowitz, who was the son of Sam, also known as the son of Sam. I haven't done a video about him. So, or it's Bobby Joe Long. Bobby Joe Long, can't remember what, they give these killers nicknames. Can't remember what his was. It was something to do with, like the classified ads killer or something, because he used to go through, Bobby Joe Long, I have done a video about him. Bobby Joe Long used to go through the classified ads and look for someone that was selling furniture or whatever, so that he could go round to the house, sort of the equivalent of Facebook in the day, I suppose, marketplace. And he would go round to the house, and if it was a woman on her own, he would attack her, and if there was a husband there or whatever, then obviously he wouldn't. But that's why he was called the classified ads killer. So we've got Dennis Rader, David Berkowitz, Bobby Joe Long, and one of those is a serial killer that claimed that a demonic dog commanded him to commit murder. Now, I didn't know the answer to this, but just by a process of elimination, because I know quite a lot about Dennis Rader, and I don't ever remember seeing that being said about him. And I know a lot about Bobby Joe Long, and I don't remember that ever being said about him. So I am going to, by the process of elimination, my guess would be David Berkowitz. But what does everybody else think? Let's have a look. I think anyone who's going for an answer is saying David Berkowitz. Son of Sam. You've not heard of the Son of Sam? You Fido. Oh, dear me. Old body knows his true crime. He's saying Son of Sam. I think it's Son of Sam. But I've got to check it because I don't know for certain. I don't know where the answers are on this. Yeah, I don't know why I've never really, I don't know really much about him. But anyway, let's have a look. So, who said a demonic dog made him kill? Sounds like The Omen. So, who said it? Yeah, Berkowitz. It was Berkowitz. He initially claimed to have been obeying the orders of a demon manifested in the form of a black dog belonging to his neighbour Sam. So I think he'd watched perhaps the Omen movie, and that's why he said that, don't you? Anyway, yeah, he's someone I need to maybe do a video because we don't seem to know much about him. And I only guessed it because I knew it wasn't the other two. I didn't know for certain it was him. Anyway. So, right, next one. Next one. Are you all listening? Now, you may have heard of this guy, the Angel of Death. The Angel of Death. Now, there's been a few Angels of Death. These are horrible murderers, aren't they? Especially horrible because they murder patients that are in their care. You know, I think they used to call, I'm sure they used to call Beverly Allitt that and stuff like that. But I think the Angel of Death, I can't remember his name, but I think that might have been in America and he killed his elderly patients. So how did he kill them? So you got three choices. The Angel of Death, he drugged them, or did he smother them, or did he drain them of blood? Nice guy, all of them. He either drugged them, he smothered them, or he drained them of blood. So that's our choice. Oh, Mello, thank you so much. Yeah, he was a nurse. That's very kind, Mello. I don't know who got that. Does anybody know who got the membership? Florence Nightingale, Simon. Oh, Lady Dog Lover's going drained blood because she, yeah, it just sounds more dramatic, doesn't it? But anybody know who got the membership? Harold Shipman got the membership, Desi. I hope not. Yeah, no, it was unfortunately he was this person. He was a nurse, wasn't he? Let's have a look. I'm going to Google it. So, Angel of Death, Angel of Death, Angel of Death. Oh, it's coming up. It's some rock band. He's got to have drugged them, hasn't he? Yeah, it was Donald Harvey. Donald Harvey. He died in 2017 at the age of 64. Oh, he died of blunt trauma. So he obviously got attacked while he was in prison. Now, let's see. How did he kill his victim? He's got to have... Oh, no. He smothered them. God, I forgot to guess that one. So I probably would have said drugged as well. So I'm going to count myself not getting a point for that. But I forgot to actually make a choice. But Yeah, he claimed to ease the pain of his patients by smothering them with their pillows. So he thought he was doing them a favor. Nice guy. Very nice guy. Very, God knows what the family thought of it. But yeah. There you go. So if you got that right, that he smothered them, then you give yourself a point. Desi 2 is better than Desi's got 2 right out of this lot. That's good. That's good. So was it Ode Bod that got? Oh, thank you, Mello. Thank you. Okay, let's have the next one. How are you doing? Next question. Oh, this is quite a recent case. How long did it take to exonerate? Now, I don't know if I think these ones are probably, most of them are American cases because it's maybe an American quiz. But do you remember the case of the Central Park 5, which were 5 young boys in New York that were accused of RAPE? And I don't know if they were actually convicted of it, but there was a big not that long ago they were exonerated. And this question is, how long did it take to exonerate the Central Park 5 of RAPE? So was it 13 years? Was it 7 years? Or was it 5 years? So Jean's getting 15 years, but it's not there. It might be 13 years then, Jean. I have no idea. I will guess at 7 years, but it's a complete guess. But anybody else? You've got a choice of 3. 13 years, 7 years, or 5 years. Okay. So some are saying 5. I'm going to look it up now. I'm saying 7, but I'm going to look it up now. What? 13 years. 13 years. So if you guessed 13 years, so I didn't get that, so I don't get a point for that. If you said 13 years, you're right. So it took 13 years to exonerate all of them. I think one was exonerated at 5 years, but 13 years to exonerate from the first one that was exonerated to the last one. Okay. I got that wrong. Okay, let's have a look at another one. Now, this is interesting. Now, I don't know this killer either. So whether there's some of you that are really into true crime out there, and it's unusual for me not to know a serial killer because I thought I'd watched basically every video there is about serial killers, but I obviously haven't because I don't know this guy. Presuming it's a guy, it will be a guy. And this is an interesting question. What was the IQ of the trash bag killer? So the trash bag killer. What was the IQ of the trash bag killer who confessed to 32 murders? So you've got a choice of 3. You've got 70, you've got 100, or you've got 180. Now, Jean's saying 190, so 180 is about the nearest there. I've no idea. Now, serial killers tend to have high IQs. They do tend to have high IQs. It's common. A lot of you are going for 180, but David's going for 100. Charlie's saying 70. Now, Gary Ridgway, who was the most prolific serial killer, he had a low IQ. But most other serial killers like Ted Bundy, Ed Kemper, etc., they tend to have high IQs. So I'm going to go for 180 with that one as well, because it has to be a little bit, has to be a little bit striking for them to make a question of it. But there's a couple of you in there going for 70, I can see. Oh, Charlie, I thought you said 70. Now he's saying 180. Now you've got to make a decision. You've got to make a decision. You've got to be honest with what you say. Okay, so I'm saying 180. Let's have a look. I'm going to Google it now. If the police ever take my computer, do you know what I mean? If I ever got arrested and the police took my computer and started looking at the search history, I'd be straight in prison, because it'd be like, oh God, look, my search history at the moment, just as I go into Google, I've got Samantha Murphy. She always comes up top because I look every day, maybe a couple of times a day, to see if there's any news on finding her remains. Angel of Death murderer, Angel of Death. Who said a demonic dog made him kill? H.H. Holmes' murder house was called what? True crime quiz with answers. Sebastian Rogers, Madeline Soto, Riley Strain. God, I hope I tell you what, I hope the police never get hold of my computer, that's for sure. Right, I've forgotten what I was looking up now. IQ of the trash bag killer. Never heard of the trash bag killer. Well, maybe I just don't know his nickname, but we'll see. See when it comes up. No, I don't really know much about this guy, Patrick Wayne Kearney. So we need to make a video about him, I think, or I do. Patrick Wayne Kearney. Anybody know him? And he had an IQ of 180. Patrick Wayne Kearney. Yeah. There you go. Let's just have a quick look on Wikipedia. Oh, so it's quite an old case. He was known as the trash bag killer and the freeway killer. I may not do a video on him, because he was a serial killer and a necrophile as well. Some cases I just can't cope with. But anyway, he murdered at least 21 young men and boys through Southern California between 1962 and 1977. So yeah, I've not really heard of him, but his IQ was 180. So you were right. Those of you who went for the high, IQ. Heather's got one right as well. Rio got one right. Well done. Yeah, I've never heard of him, but I don't think he's someone, just the necrophilia. I just don't think I don't even want to go into that. Okay, next question. Oh, I got that right, so I'm going to give myself un point. I don't know if any of you watched the Eurovision Song Contest. I didn't. I hate it. It's just so. I think I watched it last year because it was in the UK, wasn't it, last year? But I just never watch it. I find it totally boring. It goes on for too long. But nil point. Anyway, I got un point then. Okay. So, okay, here's another one that I've never heard of. I do like these ones that I've not heard of, because you finding out things you didn't know before, though they're not very nice. So William Heirens, Heirens. William Heirens became famous for leaving messages written in what? Now, you've got a choice of 3. Lipstick, blood, or feces. So, what did this man, whoever he is, I don't even know who William Herrings is. He's another one, new one to me. And I'm going to go with blood because I think either blood or lipstick. I'm hoping it's not feces, but you know what? It won't be the first time that criminals do weird things, don't they? But I'm going to go with. Actually, I'm going to change it. I'm going to go with lipstick. So William Herrings, was it lipstick, blood, or feces? And I'm going to have to look it up. Huh. That's a good emoji, Rio. Let's have a look. I'm going with lipstick, but I have no idea. I don't know who this guy is. Again, it's quite an old. Oh gosh, he's quite. Oh, he's Spanish. Is he Spanish? Oh, it's a Spanish. Oh no, it says it's an American serial killer. Right, I'm going to show you this. He's quite young and quite good looking, but he looks a little bit of, he looks quite short. I don't know, but I'm just going to show you him because I've never heard of him. William Herrings, American serial killer, looks quite young when he was caught. And why I thought it might be Spanish, because here they've got a bit of Spanish here, and he was the lipstick killer. So we can presume that it was lipstick. Yeah. He left a message in lipstick, only one message in lipstick at the crime scene. So maybe we'll look at him one day. Gosh. Do you know, there's just no end to the weirdness, is there? Anyway, I'm having a point for that. So I've got a point for the lipstick colour. So if you picked a lipstick, give yourself a point. Right. So, oh, Charlie found a lipstick emoji. I want one of them for the members. Anyway, now I do know this one because I know a lot about this serial killer. I've done a couple of videos about Ted Bundy. I know quite a lot about him. So serial killer Ted Bundy once worked at which organization? A funeral home, a suicide prevention hotline, or a heart hospital? So, which one? Where did he work? A funeral home? And it was charity work. That probably gives it away a bit. A suicide prevention hotline or a heart hospital? So I know which one I'm going for there. I do know the answer to that. I'm so confident I'm going to give myself a point because I do know the answer to that. So which one? Before I tell you the answer. Yeah, he worked at a suicide prevention hotline, yeah. And they loved him there. You know, the other people that worked with him alongside him, volunteer. It was a bit like Samaritan. It wasn't Samaritans, but it was a bit like, it's that sort of organization. Yeah. Can you believe it? I think it was a rape. I'm sure he did some work on he did quite a few charity, answering the phone at these places where people ring up for help. I'm sure he did it at a rape one as well. So, because a woman that he worked with, Anne Rule, who's a famous writer, she wrote a book about it. I think it was The Stranger Beside Me or something like that, because she worked alongside him at this suicide prevention hotline she, as everybody thought, Ted Bundy was charming, handsome, lovely, caring guy. You know, it just shows you. Anyway, so, oh, Mello, you've got deux points now. Okay, next one. Now, this is not right, this answer, because, anyway, I'll tell you. So the question is, Sharon Tate was murdered by which criminal? Now, I don't think you'll need the choice of 3 there, but if you do, let me know. Do you want the choice of 3 or not? So the choice they're giving you here, who was Sharon Tate murdered by? You've got a choice of Myra Hindley, Charles Manson, or Jeffrey Dahmer. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think, because she was not, well, so, yeah, a lot of you say Manson. But she actually was not murdered by Charles Manson. I don't think Charles Manson murdered anybody with his own hands. He had that weird cult gang, didn't he? Women, most of him. What women ever saw in him? I mean, what? Honest to God, I swear he must have given him some drug or something. Bit like Boris Johnson. I always think that about him. What do women see in him? Because, you know, he's never been short of women, has he? And you just think, oh, he must use some date rape drug or something, because, you know, Charles Manson, what on earth would any woman find attractive about him? Anyway, I don't know. But it was the Charles Manson family, as a few people said there. He didn't actually murder her, but, you know, he engineered it. He told them to do it. So he's still alive, I think, isn't he, Charles Manson? Okay. Oh, let me give myself. I keep forgetting to put my points down. This is no good, because I'll end up losing then, and I'm not supposed to lose. I'm supposed to know all this. I don't know this, but I don't know this one, but I can guess it. I'm sure you'll all be able to have a guess at the. Oh, well, actually, I don't know the next 2, but we'll have to guess them unless you know. So the next one is, how many people have been named as Jack the Ripper suspects? Suspects, not victims, but suspects. How many people have been named as Jack the Ripper suspects? And gosh, this is amazing to me. There's 3 choices. One is 100, one is 200, and the other is 300. How many? I know I can see you're all putting like 1, 4, 2, 6. No, apparently it's either 100, 200, or 300. Yeah, call a friend. Yeah, let's have a look. I've got to Google that. I don't know. Right, I'm going to make a guess, and I'm going to say 100. Just because I can't even believe it would be 100, but I certainly don't think it'd be like 200 or 300, but maybe it is. So I can see you're all choosing different things there, which is interesting. So I'm going to go for 100. Now I'm going to Google it. What did we do without Google? I mean, what did we do? Okay. Well, it's coming up as 170. So I think we're going to have to take the 200 there. as many as 170 people. It says here. I'll have a look, see if there's another any other source that says the same. Oh, some are like controversial. It says some are saying that maybe it was a woman. There was a painter, Walter Sickert, author Lewis Carroll, or heir to the throne, Prince Albert Victor. But it says here 170 people. So I think we'll take the 200. On Wikipedia, it's saying over 100. So let's see. I'm going down looking at see if we can see any more. Yeah, they're all saying over 100. So I think we've got to take the 200 answer as being right. So if you had 200, you get a tick for 200. I don't get a tick there. Okay, next one. And the judges, that's me. The judge's decision is final. Ah, dear. So next one, Metal Fang. Again, I don't know this one, but I'll just have a guess. Metal Fang was a serial killer known for what? So we've got three choices. So it's either his kennels full of vicious dogs, his white metal teeth, or his pet wolf. Okay, so this is serial killer Metal Fang, who I've never heard of. Was he famous for kennels full of vicious dogs? Was he famous for his white metal teeth, which seems to me obvious, and I'm probably going to go for that? Or was he famous for his pet wolf? So I can see teeth. Shame I haven't got an emoji for teeth, because teeth are coming up, or fangs. Teeth are coming up. Oh, left, right, and centre there. So I think all of us, more or less, are thinking of teeth. So let's have a Google. Oh, yeah, he's Russian. He's a Soviet serial killer. And yeah, he had metal fangs because he's a cannibal. Ooh. And he was convicted of the murders of 10 people. Nikolai Explosivich, impossible to pronounce his last name, Dazumageliev or something like that. That's him, the metal fanged killer. I've never heard of him. Yeah, it sounds like a revolting case. Again, I probably wouldn't want to do a case thing on him. But if you said teeth, you get sorry, Mello, you're wrong with the pet dog thing. It's the teeth. He had like, in fact, I'll show you. Here he is. So yeah, he had this. That's the guy, and he had like metal teeth. So lovely guy. Lovely, 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 lovely. Okay. Hi, Caroline. I know, yeah. Even with the multiple choice, I've forgotten if I wrote that one down. Like, tick the edit. No, I didn't. So that's one I get for that thing. I hope I'm not I'm probably giving myself extra points, but never mind. What do points make? They don't make prizes, not in this game. Oh, now I love this one. I don't know this, but I've never heard of this person. But maybe some of you there have. But how did the giggling granny kill numerous members of her family? So, I'm going to have to look this up. The giggling granny. How did she kill numerous members of her family. And you've got three choices: poison, a knife, or a car. Well, I don't know this answer, but I'm going to go for poison, just because women tend to kill with poison, don't they? But have any of you ever heard of the giggling granny? Any of you heard of the giggling granny? Oh, I've got to look her up. So while you're all deciding on your answers, I think most of you are going for poison. But have any of you actually heard of her? I've never heard of her. The giggling granny. So, this is Nanny Doss. She was referred to as the giggling granny, the lonely hearts killer, the jolly black widow. Bloody hell, she's got more nicknames than, I don't know, but bloody hell. Wonder why they called her the giggling granny. Let's have a look, see if I can find out. I'm going to share it with you so you can have a look at her. Nanny Doss, never heard of her. Oh. Good old giggling granny. Oh, she died in 1965. Well, she's smiling on that picture, you can see. The giggling granny, the jolly black widow, or the lonely hearts killer. Let's see, where does it say how she killed him? Yeah, poisoning. Wonder why they called her the giggling. It looks like an interesting case, to be honest. I think they called her the giggling. She seems to be smiling on a lot of her pictures. Let's see. Anyway, yeah, interesting case. So she's died in the Oklahoma State Penitentiary in 1965. There you go. There's the giggling granny, another one. So it's poison. So if you said poison, give yourself a point. Okay. Next one. Now, I've heard of this guy, but I don't know the answer to this. John Dillinger. So we're sort of in the Wild West, I think, are we, with John Dillinger? Was he like an outlaw? John Dillinger escaped from jail using what object? Was it a sharpened toothbrush, a wooden gun, or a key? So, any of you know anything about John Dillinger, about the Wild West? Oh, he was a gangster, was he? So John Dillinger escaped from jail using what object? It was either a sharpened toothbrush, a wooden gun, or a key. Now, I don't know the answer to that, but I'm going to guess a key, because if he was did somebody manage to smuggle a key to him? We've got someone saying a gun, someone saying a sharpened toothbrush, wooden gun. So yeah, we've got a good mixture there of guesses. I presume that does anyone actually know for sure, or are they all guesses? A wooden gun. So, although the authorities had claimed the jail was escape-proof, Dillinger managed to break out using a whittled wooden gun to intimidate the guards. He took machine guns, locked up guards and trustees, and fled, according to the FBI. So So there you go. It was a wooden gun, so I don't get a point for that. I got that wrong. So any of you guessed a wooden gun? Okay, the next one. I think you'll guess this one. Which serial killer kept his victims... Oh, they're all men anyway. Kept his victims' head in his freezer. Which serial killer kept victims' heads in his freezer? And you've got three choices. You may know this one without even the choices. The Casanova Killer, Jeffrey Dahmer, or BTK, Bind, Torture, Kill. So Simon saying David, was it David Nielsen? What was his first name? I can't remember, but he's not in the three. I don't know if he kept heads in freezers, but anyway, the Casanova Killer, Jeffrey Dahmer, or BTK. And I think I would have known that one anyway, but also I would have known because I know the other two didn't. But it is Jeffrey Dahmer. So give yourself a point if you got Jeffrey Dahmer. Okay. Some of these are like mobster ones, but they're... Oh, and that one's too depressing. Okay, we're going back to the Green River Killer again. So the Green River Killer that we saw earlier was the most prolific serial killer in America. He was convicted of 48 murders, but how many did he confess to? So he was convicted of 48, but he confessed to a lot more. So it's either 60, 70, or 100. 60, 70, or 100. So how many did the Green River Killer confess to? 60, 70, or 100? I'm gonna Google that. Oh, I think it's a 70. I think it's 70, but I've got to Google it because I don't know for sure. Right, we've got... Everyone seems to be going... Oh no, we've got 100, we've got 60, we've got 70. Oh God, when it comes up on the Google, it's not any of those things. Oh no, sorry, that he said. How many did he say? Let's have a look. It's got to be on Wikipedia. God, I can't find the answer. All right, I've got to put in a different question. Trouble with Google is you have to ask the right question. Right. Between 71 and 90. So I'm going to take 70 there as the answer. 70, because it's not going up as far as 100. It's saying 71 here, 290. So we're going to take 70 as the right answer. So if you've got 70, give yourself a point. That was a bit difficult, that one. That, oh God, if there's a tie break, people will be whinging about that. Now, I just want to see this. Now, there's not been many female serial killers, have they? But Eileen Wuornos, was her surname Pittman as well? Because they're asking a question about Eileen Pittman, and I don't know if that is Eileen Wuornos. Yeah, it is. So that must be another name that she had. So the question is, what do you know Eileen Wuornos, one of the very few female serial killers, and what were her last words before she was executed? So before Eileen Wuornos or Pittman was executed, what were her last words? Did she say they deserved it? Did she say, I'll be back? Or did she say, thank goodness it's over? So what were Eileen Wuornos's famous last words? Do you think? Now, I'm trying to think what she would say. I think because she didn't like men. She'd been quite badly abused all through her life. So I think she might have said they deserved it. So I'm going to choose they deserved it. But I don't know. That's what I'm choosing. So you've got three choices. Thank goodness it's over. They deserved it. Or I'll be back. Okay, let's have a look now at the answer. I need to do a video about her, I think. Because that's, it's an interesting case. Oh, I'll be back. She said, so her exact last words were, yes, I would. When she was asked, have you got any last words? She said, yes, I would just like to say I'm sailing with the rock and I'll be back like Independence Day with Jesus. June the 6th, like the movie, big mothership and all, I'll be back. I'll be back. So if you chose I'll be back, you get a point. I don't get a point there. I would not have thought that she would say that. Bless her. I say bless her. I mean, she killed quite a few men, but anyway, we'll do that case one day. Right, next question. And you have, and I've moved on to a different quiz thing now, but we've still got multiple choice answers. So, first question. It's not the first question, but the first question on this channel. Which real-life notorious criminal is portrayed by Johnny Depp in the 2009 movie Public Enemies? So, which real-life notorious criminal is portrayed by Johnny Depp in the 2009 movie Public Enemies? I've never seen that movie, which surprises me because I really like Johnny Depp, so I have no idea why I haven't seen that movie. But you've got four choices: John Dillinger, Al Capone, Babyface Nelson, or Clyde Barrow. So Johnny Depp portrayed him in the film Public Enemies. Anybody seen that film? I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. John Dillinger, Al Capone, Babyface Nelson, or Clyde Barrow. Now, if I think I would have gone for John Dillinger. I don't know why, because, I don't know Babyface Nelson. Clyde Barrow was Bonnie and Clyde, wasn't it? And I don't remember Johnny Depp being in that film. I don't think Johnny Depp would have played Al Capone, because I've seen a photo of Al Capone and he looks nothing, he's not like him, is he, in any way? Now, I don't know what John Dillinger looks like, so I'm going to say a couple of you are going for Clyde Barrow, and a few of you going for John Dillinger. Right, let's have a look. You press the thing, you do get the answers here. The answer is John Dillinger. So if you said John Dillinger, give yourself a point. Oh, I can show you a picture of the film. They've got a picture of the film. So this apparently is Johnny Depp in the film Public Enemies. Never seen it, honestly. I'm really surprised there, because I thought I'd seen every film that Johnny Depp was in. And this is the real John Dillinger. So there you go. I need to look out for that film. Apparently he died from police gunfire while he was trying to escape a theatre in July of 1934. Interesting. Okay, next one. Now, this is again one that there's so many bloody crimes out there, serial killers and whatever, because I definitely have not done a video on this case. This is an Alaskan case. The Alaskan serial killer known as the Butcher Baker. The Butcher Baker. And he would kidnap, I've heard of this case, but I've not done a video on it. He would kidnap women, he would take them in his little plane and fly them deep into the wilderness, and then he would let them go, and then he would hunt them. So he literally took these poor women that he'd abducted, flew them out into the wilderness in Alaska, into the trees, and let them go, but they had nowhere they could go, because they'd be in some forest. They wouldn't even know where they were or what. And he would then hunt them down. That was he wanted to hunt them. He would hunt them like animals. And, he was caught finally. But who was he? What was his name? I wouldn't have known his name, to be honest. I've heard of him, but I would have had to make a guess, and I would have got the right guess because I know the others are not him. But anyway, so here's the four choices. Was it Israel Keys? Was it Robert Hansen? Was it Peter Sutcliffe or Richard Ramirez? So this Butcher Baker guy, this horrible guy who would kidnap women, put them in a little plane. He had a little private, one of them little island hopper planes, fly them deep into the wilderness and let them go so he could hunt them down and kill them. Who was he? Israel Keys, Robert Hansen, Peter Sutcliffe, or Richard Ramirez? Somebody's saying Richard Branson there, Simon. Yeah, it is Richard Hansen. Got to be Richard Hansen. I'm going to check it because I didn't know for sure. But it's not Israel Keys. I mean, he did some weird things in Alaska, but he wasn't the one that flew them out and did that, as far as I think. It wasn't Peter Sutcliffe, because that's a Yorkshire Ripper, and it wasn't Richard Ramirez because he was the Night Stalker. So the answer is, give yourself a point if you had Robert Hansen. And he finally was arrested because a survivor, Cindy Paulson, escaped his aircraft and flagged down a truck driver. And she could describe him to the police. And she shared that he had a stutter, She identified his plane. She helped map out other possible victims. And she'd left her shoes behind as evidence. So that's how he got caught finally. You know, oh, God. Okay. So, yeah, if you had him, what was his name again? Robert Hansen, give yourself a point. Now, we've got another one that I've never heard of. I don't like it that all these serial killers that I've never heard of, because you just think, my God, where does it stop? Now, this is a spree killer. You know what a spree killer is? This guy's called Andrew Cunanan, and he was an American spree killer, which basically a spree killer is someone who kills a lot of people, but in a short space of time. So whereas serial killers have to, normally they're classed as a serial killer once they've killed more than 3 people, but they have a cooling off period in between, don't they? So normally they'll kill one person and then they'll wait a while. It seems to assuage their sort of, you know, what they're propelled towards doing, and then maybe a couple of months later or a couple of weeks later, but they'll leave a cooling off period. A spree killer is someone who kills 5 people over a very short period of time. And this guy, Andrew Cunanan, you may have heard of him because it's not, he murdered 5 people. Well, I'm saying it's not that long ago. I can't believe it was 1997. Because I thought it was a lot more recently than that. Because I remember this case, I remember it. And I thought it was a lot, not. Does anybody remember it? Hi, Tracy. You'll have heard of the case. Definitely, you'll have heard of the case. Definitely. So, who was his final victim? Was it John Lennon? Was it Sharon Tate? Was it Notorious B.I.G.? Or was it Gianni Versace? So, who was his final victim? Was Andrew Cunanan's final victim John Lennon, Sharon Tate, Notorious B.I.G. or Gianni Versace? Now, I guessed it because, again, I know it wasn't the others. It was not because I specifically, and then when I saw who it was, I remember this case, but I felt it was a lot sooner. I thought that was just a few years ago, but there you go. Time goes fast, doesn't it? So I knew it wasn't John Lennon because I can't remember the name of the guy that killed him, but I knew it wasn't that name. It wasn't Sharon Tate because that was Charles Manson's gang. It wasn't Notorious B.I.G. So it is Gianni Versace. And he murdered him on the steps outside of his Miami mansion on July the 15th, 1997. And it is thought that although a proper motive has not been revealed, it's believed that this guy Cunanan, he just developed a hatred towards wealthy gay men because he thought he was HIV positive and he wanted revenge on the world. So, poor guy, poor Versace, poor Gianni. Yeah. God. Now, so if you got Versace, you've got 1 point there. I got that one. Now, this one's a little bit different. It's a true or false. So you're going for a true or false here. True or false. And the question that you've got to say if it's true or false, if a criminal defendant is found to be not guilty by reason of insanity, they are released from custody. Is that true or false? So if a person is found, a criminal defendant is found to be guilty sorry, not guilty. By reason of insanity, they are released from custody. I think the general opinion is false here. Yeah, if you said false, give yourself a point. Because what it says here is not only is it incredibly hard to prove that a criminal defendant is not guilty by reason of insanity, but if they are, the person is committed to a forensic psychiatric hospital or a similar mental health care setting rather than being released. They will remain hospitalized for an unspecified amount of time, sometimes more time than the original crime sentence. That's interesting. So sometimes they end up, because didn't that guy that died recently, I mean, he wasn't a serial killer, but Shannon Matthews' uncle, he's just died, hasn't he, in a facility, in a mental health facility. He's been in there ever since. I think he went to prison first of all, and then he was sent to a mental health facility, and he's just died in there. So, and he didn't actually kill anyone. I mean, he kidnapped, he helped, you know, with this whole sham thing of Shannon Matthews, you know, the sham kidnapping. But yeah, it's quite, that whole thing was so sad, wasn't it, really? Anyway, okay, so give yourself a point. No, you're doing quite well here with your points. So the next question. Have any of you seen Homicide Hunter on the telly? It's a TV program. A policeman, Lieutenant Joe Kender, talking about true cases. And in this guy, this Joe Kender, Lieutenant Joe Kender from this program, Homicide Hunter, he had a 23-year career in the Colorado Springs Police Department. And he says he only worked during that time on one serial killer case. And who is this 1980s serial killer? And your choices are Jeffrey Dahmer, Carol Cole. I've never heard of Carol Cole. It's a man, I think. Never heard of him. I don't like all these serial killers that I've not heard of. You know, you just think, God, there's so many. I mean, how many? That's definitely a video I need to do. How many serial killers are there in the world? I mean, bloody hell. Anyway, so is it Jeffrey Dahmer, Carol Cole, Ronald Lee White? I've never heard of him either. Or Joseph James D'Angelo. And Joseph James D'Angelo, he's the Golden Bridge killer, isn't he? The one that has just been caught recently, who used to be a policeman, but he's been caught through familial DNA quite recently. DNA is, I did a video about him, I think. Jeffrey Dahmer, of course, wasn't the 1980s, was he? He's much more, he's more recent than that, wasn't it, Jeffrey Dahmer? So to me, it's between Carol Cole or Ronald Lee White, because I don't know who either of those are. Simon's saying Ronald Lee White, Amethyst saying White, Charlie saying Jeffrey Dahmer, but I don't think it's the right time space for Jeffrey Dahmer. Let's have a look. Oh, so it is Ronald Lee White. Oh, God, I didn't guess one of them. Well, I would have guessed either Carol Cole or Ronald Lee White, but I don't know which one I would have gone for in the end. I'm going to give myself half a point there. But if you actually picked Ronald Lee White, it's him. And apparently in this guy's Homicide Hunter special on Investigation Discovery, So apparently he did a 2-hour program on investigation discovery, 2-hour homicide hunter special about how he connected the dots in his first and only search for a serial killer, Ronald Lee White. And I tell you what, I don't know what's going on in Colorado, but there just seems to be loads of serial killers in Colorado. I mean, is it boring there? Is there nothing else to do? Because White would stab and dismember his victims before scattering their body parts across multiple locations in Pueblo County, Colorado. So there you go. Where are we going now? Oh, yeah, it's called Devil in the Mountains. The program, the 2-hour special about this serial killer is called Devil in the Mountains. Oh, and this is interesting because I've seen this film. 3 prisoners famously escaped from what prison surrounded by water in 1962? I know the answer to this because I've seen the film. So I'm going to give myself a point for this. So which prison did 3 prisoners famously escape from? A prison surrounded by water, and they escaped in 1962. Yeah, a few of you know that. You've all seen it. It's a good film. Was it Clint Eastwood that was in that film? Was it Clint Eastwood? I think it was. It Clint Eastwood in that film? It was a good film. It was a good film. And it is, yeah, Frank Lee Morris. So give yourself a point if you got everyone's getting Alcatraz there. I think we've all seen the film. Yeah. Give yourself a point if you've got Alcatraz. So apparently Frank Lee Morris, Clarence Anglin and John William Anglin, they're brothers, escaped the Alcatraz Federal Penitentiary. I think it's closed now, isn't it? Don't they do, I was going to say Amethyst, I think they do trips there, don't they? And you've not seen the film, so who's not, oh no, Mello's not seen the film. It's a really good film, Mello, if you get a chance to watch. I mean, it's old now, but it's good. So the trio put decoy heads made of soap and plaster in their beds and fooled guards into thinking they were in their cells. They escaped through a kitchen smokestack and strung 50 raincoats together to make a raft. Were they found? I can't remember if I think they all got caught again. I don't know. They just swam out, didn't they? Or were they found? I've got to Google whether they were found or not. Were they? Because it's quite a long swim. You know, that's why Alcatraz was held up as a prison that nobody could escape from. But of course they did. But what happened to them? Oh no, they were never found. They're just presumed to have drowned. On December the 31st in 1979, after a 17-year investigation, the official finding was that the prisoners most likely drowned in the cold waters of the bay while they were attempting to reach Angel Island. It's interesting. And I'm going to just see, did they ever find the bodies? Nope, they never found the bodies, and their families insist they survived. That'd be an interesting deep dive to do, wouldn't it? I wonder if they did escape. I'd also like to know what they did. you know, to go into, I mean, Alcatraz is a serious prison, so it's probably murder, but I'll look into that one day because that is quite interesting. What did they do to get in there in the first place? And what happened to them? Yeah, so it's closed now anyway, the actual prison, and it's a tourist attraction now. Interesting. Right. Okay, that's the end of that one quiz. Got a couple left to go through. Hope you're still all going. Now, we've got a few different things here. Let's see. Some of them are not really... Some of them sort of repeat, you know, those same questions. Right, we'll do these. So, see if you know these. Criminal personalities trivia. First one. Which murderer was the first to be caught by the use of ship-to-shore telegraph? Now, you haven't got a choice of 4 here, or even a choice of 2. You've got no multi-choice. You've got to think of the name. Which murderer, and I can't play this one because all the answers are right there. Oh, no, they're not. They're hidden. They're hidden. Which murderer was the first to be caught by the use of ship-to-shore telegraph? Anybody know? Anybody know the name of the person? I knew this because my mum and dad used to talk about this years ago. This was like a big thing in their sort of, would it have been in their day, or that it was just like a big story, you know, like, you know, people have always been interested in true crime. It's just that now, of course, with the internet and this, that and the other, it's, you know, and YouTube and podcasts, and it's much more common. But people, right since Jack the Ripper's days, people have been interested in true crime. If I give you a clue, I'm going to give you a clue. Oh, somebody has got it. Somebody has got it. It was a doctor. Was a doctor. And it was, David is right, it's Dr. Crippen. So if you got Dr. Crippen, he was so I suppose he's the first murderer to be caught by, you know, technology, if you like, because didn't he murdered his wife and then he went on a ship like to America or somewhere, but there was a telegraph sent, and so he got arrested on board, I think. And Michael Barrymore, Simon's saying. Oh dear. So if you got Crippen, give yourself a point. I'm going to give myself a point there. Okay. Now then, this is interesting. Who, I don't know the answer to this because the answers are sort of blurred out. I have to click on them to go in. Who is the most sued man in English legal history? The most sued man in English legal history. Who could that be? The most sued man in English legal history. Is it going to be someone like, it won't be Ian Hislop, would it? I know he gets sued a lot, doesn't he, because of his magazine Private Eye. Is it? Yeah, I would say Ian Hislop. Boris, yeah. Boris is the most should have been sued man in English legal history. I think it's have I got news for you? I think it's Ian Hislop. Let's have a look. Yep, Ian Hislop. So if you guessed Ian Hislop, give yourself a point. Now I'm going to ask this question and then I'm going to go and get another glass of wine. So I'll give you time to chew this one over. In 1943, which Hollywood actor was charged with and acquitted of? So in 1943, which Hollywood actor was charged with but acquitted of 3 counts of rape? In 1943, which Hollywood actor was charged with and acquitted of 3 counts of rape? Now, I'm going to leave you to have a little think about that. I don't think it's Rock Hudson because, well, it could be if it was rape against a man, but Rock Hudson was gay, wasn't he? So unless it was of a man, it can't be him. But I'm going to go and get a glass of wine. But I've got a sort of a feeling I might know who it is. Okay, so let's see what we've got. Kirk Douglas. I thought of Kirk Douglas because Kirk Douglas, you know, they think he actually murdered somebody, a woman called Jean Spangler. He may have murdered her. Yeah. But the other one, Errol Flynn. Yeah, it could be Errol Flynn. Errol Flynn's a possibility. And then there was Fatty Arbuckle. Yeah, he was the one, wasn't he? Or was that actually killing someone or was it RAPE? But yeah, there was Fatty Arbuckle. Errol Flynn's a possibility. Kirk Douglas is a possibility. So I've got to make a decision which one I'm going to go with. Oh, DMV, you had to go and pee, son. Oh, bless. Well, you know, never mind. There's still a little way to go yet, anyway. Right, I've got to think who I'm going to say here. I'm going to go with Errol Flynn. I'm going to go with Errol Flynn. I think it was Errol Flynn. No, Kirk Douglas didn't kill Stephanie off the boat. Stephanie who? No, you're thinking of Natalie Wood, and that was Robert Wagner, who's thought to be involved with that. Kirk Douglas, I think he actually murdered somebody, but he was never held to account for it. I think this act. So Errol Flynn was like a heartthrob actor, wasn't he, in those times? He appeared in. When I was a kid, I used to watch so many old films. I really loved all the old films. That's how I remember him. And he was like a heartthrob actor. Let's have a look. Errol Flynn. It's Errol Flynn. So if you got Errol Flynn, give yourself a point. Next question. I don't know this either. Who was arrested in Miami in 1969 for allegedly exposing himself on stage? Who was arrested for allegedly exposing himself on stage? I have no idea of this. Does anybody know? Somebody who exposed themselves on stage. I don't know if they mean a singer or they mean an actor. Don't know. Elvis. Might have been Elvis in 1969. Yeah. But I know he was Elvis was sort of accused of being like too raunchy, wasn't he? Too raunchy. I don't know if he actually exposed himself though. Someone's saying the Doors there. Do you know that, Charlie, or is that a guess? Jim Morrison. Yeah, a few people are saying Jim Morrison. Well, I'm going to give myself nothing for that because I would never have guessed that in a million years. Let's have a look. Jim Morrison. Yeah, Jim Morrison. I didn't know that. Don't really like the Doors much, so don't know. Now, this next question, don't say Vicki Marie Chat's members, because listen to this. Which serial killer led a commune which called itself the Family? You know, on a Thursday on members' lives when we welcome everyone to the family. Welcome to the family. So the answer to this is not Vicki Marie Chat. Which serial killer led a commune which called itself the Family? It's got to be Manson, hasn't it? I'd forgotten that it called himself the Family, but never mind. Maybe we should think of another welcoming song. But yeah, I'm going. Let's have a look. I'll just check, but I'm pretty sure it's Manson. Yeah, Charles Manson. So if you thought Charles Manson, give yourself a point. Yeah, yeah. God. Oh, now these names ring a bell to me, but I can't think why. In which scandal of the 20th century were Bob Haldeman and John Ehrlichman involved? Oh, no, I've remembered now what it is. Which scandal of the 20th century were Bob Haldeman and John Ehrlichman involved? Now, these are harder because you haven't got a choice. You've got to actually know the answer. You can't guess. But I think I know this one. I don't think it's Profumo. I don't think it's the Profumo scandal. I think is it Watergate? Is it not Watergate? Nixon, yeah. I think it's Watergate. That's where God, what would we have done without Watergate? That's where all these things like Sausagegate that we had over the, all these, we can make all these sort of other names up for things that are scandals, like Sausagegate and I don't know, Prawngate or whatever happens. So I think it was Watergate. Oh, Julie. Let me just put that up there. Thank you, Julie. That's so sweet. Oh, I hope it's cheered you up a bit. I know you're a bit fed up, so hopefully it's cheered you up a bit, just the silliness of it all. Thank you so much. So yeah, I think it's Watergate. So we're going to go for that, aren't we? Yeah, Pizzagate, things like that. Watergate. So if you got Watergate, give yourself a point. So I've got 5, 10, 15, 20. I've got 23.5 points so far. Don't know what everybody else has got. Oh, good, Julie. I'm glad it cheered you up. So 23.5. 23.5 points. Okay, it's better than Eurovision anyway, isn't it? Which was a load of shy, as it always is, to be honest, but it's got worse over the years. I didn't even bother even tuning into it. So yeah, why bother with Eurovision? Next year on Eurovision night, we'll have a quiz. Next question. Now, I don't know this. Don't know this one at all, and I normally know about current events and things, but I cannot think of this. Think it might be, would it be? Anyway, which country saw its prime minister kidnapped and murdered by terrorists in 1978? So, yeah, Mello, I got half because there was one where I couldn't decide between two. So I can't remember what my reasoning was now. So I didn't decide on one. I just gave myself half because I knew which two it wasn't, but I didn't know which out of the two remaining ones. I didn't know which one it was, so I just went for half instead of going for half. So yeah, I've ended up with 28.5 points so far. But I don't think I'm going to get a point for this because I can't think which country saw its prime minister kidnapped and murdered by terrorists in 1978. I feel like it was, well, David's saying Ireland. Was it an Irish prime minister? I would say it's Iran or somewhere like that. Iran, Iraq. Amethyst saying Italy. Rio's saying China. It definitely wasn't China. Oh, I don't think so. I'm going to say Iran. Iran, I'm going to say. What else has people said? Somewhere in Africa. Okay, let's have a look. Oh, it was Italy. Somebody said Italy. Amethyst. Well done. Oh, my God. You know what? I would never have guessed that. I would never have guessed that. So if you got Italy, give yourself a point. In 1978, the Italian Prime Minister was kidnapped and murdered by terrorists. I don't even remember that. Okay. Now, the last one in this on this section one. Which former Olympic gymnastics champion? I think you might know this. I think I know it. I'm not sure, but I think I do. Which former Olympic gymnastics champion was convicted of shoplifting in 2002? Ah, Amethyst, you are Italian. Ah, well done. Brilliant. I mean, it's not brilliant that the Prime Minister was kidnapped and murdered, but who is that? Who was the name? Do you know their name, Amethyst? So, which former Olympic gymnastics champion was convicted of shoplifting in 2002? Beth Tweddle. No, I think it's Olga Corbett, isn't it? Or Nadia Comaneci, maybe. Hi, Wesley. I thought it was Olga Corbett. Well, it's going to be one of them two, isn't it? Olga Corbett or Nadia Comaneci. Don't think it's Beth Tweddle or whatever her name is. Yeah, Julie's saying Olga Corbett as well. Look, Julie might get one more here. I'm going to have a look at the answer now. Olga Corbett. It was Olga Corbett. So I'm having. So if you've got Olga Corbett, give yourself a point. I'm giving myself a point there. So I'm on 29.5 now. Okay, so that's that one down. Let's see. Have we got any more? Yeah, we've got another one. Which serial killer, we're back to the serial killers now. I have heard of this one, thank God. I can't believe how many new serial killers I've heard about tonight. Which serial killer was known as the Dusseldorf vampire because he drank the blood of at least one of his victims? Now, we're back to multiple choice now. Back to multiple choice now. Which serial killer was known as the Dusseldorf vampire because he drank the blood of at least one of his victims? And your choices: Bruno Ludke, Karl Denker, Wolfgang Schmidt, and Peter Curtin. Charlie's saying Dracula. Oh, the metal fang again, Julie. No, it's not the metal fang, this one. So, Bruno Ludke, Karl Denker, Wolfgang Schmidt, or Peter Curtin, one of them was known as the Dusseldorf vampire because he drank the blood of at least one of his victims. And the answer is, if you got Peter Curtin, you're right. Give yourself a point for Peter Curtin. Nice man, another nice man. Oh, God, these are going to be horrible, these. They're all about famous serial killers, but they're seem a bit gory. I don't like these gory ones. Right. Which serial killer of 100 boys was sentenced to be strangled with the same chain he had used to kill his victims, and then his body to be dismembered into 100 pieces and dissolved in acid? I think this is because this is what he used to do with his victims. So he was sentenced to the same fate. And you may have realised this is not a serial killer in the UK or America or Australia or any of those countries. I think this is in India. And the four choices are Mohan Kumar, Javed Iqbal, Kampatima Shankariya, or Ripa Jayanandan. So you've got a choice of four: Mohan Kumar, Javed Iqbal, Kampatima Shankariya. No one will guess that because nobody will know how to spell it. Or Ripa Jayanandan. Which serial killer of 100 boys was sentenced to be strangled with the same chain? I mean, who would do it? If he was sentenced to be strangled by the same chain he'd used to kill his victims, who would do that strangling? I wonder. It's very odd, isn't it? Right, we've got a Patel. There wasn't a Patel, David. None of them were Patel. It was Kumar, Iqbal, Shankariya, Jayanandan. They were the surnames. No Patel. Oh, God, I've just had to blow the candle out because it was getting on my chest. Yeah, maybe the victim's family would do it. Well, I don't think anyone's got it right unless David, when he said Patel, meant Iqbal, because the answer is Javed Iqbal. Oh, it was a joke, was it? Okay. So if you got Javed Iqbal, which I did know that one, but only because I've seen it somewhere when I've been surfing through serial killers. Okay, next it was Pakistan. Oh, and here we go, a little bit of extra information. He killed himself before the sentence could be carried out. So whoever was going to perform whether it was the family or whatever it was, they never got a chance to do it because he killed himself in prison, supposedly. Okay, next one. I think you might get this one. Which serial killer, these are all about serial killers, which serial killer posed as a hitchhiking prostitute and killed 7 male motorists in 1989 to 90? So, which serial killer posed as a hitchhiking prostitute to kill 7 male motorists in 1989 to 1990? And yes, Iqbal was number 2, Mello. So if you guessed number 2 because you didn't know how to say the name or whatever, it was the second choice. Number 2, Susan Boyle. Simon's making me laugh. Yes. So the choice is Eileen Wuornos, Nanny Doss, Jane Toppen, or Carol Bundy. There's that Bundy name again. So your choice is Eileen Wuornos, Nanny Doss, Jane Toppen, or Carol Bundy. And it is, of course. Oh, I haven't seen the film Monster, Julie. It wasn't Nanny, no. We watched Nanny, no, Nanny, no, Nanny. No, Nanny, no, Nanny. Look at that. I'm on my second glass of wine now and it's making me laugh. Shouldn't be laughing about serial killers, really. So, which serial killer posed as a hitchhiking prostitute to kill 7 male motorists in 1989 to 90? I'm going to get the giggles now. It's from, so was it Eileen Wuornos, Nanny Doss, no Nanny, no Nanny, Jane Toppen, it doesn't take much to make me giggle, or Carol Bundy? Oh, dear me. No Nanny, no Nanny, no Nanny, no Nanny Doss. No, it was Eileen Wuornos. So if you guessed Eileen Wuornos, give yourself un point. Oh, God. You want to see the surnames I've got to say now in this one? Oh, right. We're back to Russia now. Just to get, I think these are just so that I can't say them. So which Soviet serial killer murdered at least, apologies to anyone Russian who might be watching, I'm sorry, but I'm just rubbish at pronouncing Russian names. Which Soviet serial killer murdered at least 50 children and women, often butchering them while they were still alive? Oh, dear me, another nice guy. Between 1978 and 1990. And they called this guy the chessboard killer, from what I can remember. I do know this one. I'm going to give myself a point for this because I would know this one. So you've got a choice of 4. Sergei Golovkin, Andrei Chikatilo, Vasily Komarov, or sorry, I shouldn't be laughing, but I keep thinking of vodka. I want to say vodka. Vasily Kulik. So you've got Sergei Golovkin, Andrei Chikatilo, Vasily Komarov, or Vasily Kulik. Oh my God. So go on, which one is it? So number 1 is Sergei Golovkin. So if you can't write it, just write number 1. Number 2, Andrei Chikatilo. That's number 2. Number 3, Vasily Komarov. Number 3. And number 4, Vasily again. Vasily Kulik. So it's either 1, 2, 3, or 4. Good. So Kulik, Wesley's saying. Oh dear, why can't they give me a serial killer that I can pronounce the name of? Anyway, the answer is Andrei Chikatilo. Andrei the chessboard killer, I think he was known as. and he preyed on young migrants whose absence would not be immediately noticed. So he was another real charmer, wasn't he? So number 2, for those of you who guessed by number, it was number 2. Okay. Oh, I can pronounce these. Which serial killer was the inspiration for the murderous character Scorpio in the 1971 film Dirty Harry? I loved that series with Clint Eastwood. Do you remember the Dirty Harry series? It was really good. No, it was number 2, Desi, that other one. Number 2. Okay, so which serial killer was the inspiration for the murderous character Scorpio in the 1971 film Dirty Harry? Yeah, they were good films, the Dirty Harry films. So you've got a choice of 4. Was it the Happy Face Killer? Was it the Hillside Strangler? There were actually 2 Hillside Stranglers. Wasn't just one person. Was it the Zodiac Killer or was it the Green River Killer? I would have known this because I've seen the film and I don't know much about the actual killer that they're talking about, but I knew that it was based on them. Yeah, it's all coming up there. The Zodiac. Sorry, Simon, you're not right. You've got Nil Qua, Simon. It's not the Green River Killer. It's not the Happy Tracy's. Nil Qua. Yeah, the answer is the Zodiac Killer. So if you guess the Zodiac Killer, give yourself a point. Charlie, Scorpio was a name in the film. Okay. Huh. Now, I knew this one. I know this one. I haven't done a video on these series. God, you know, so many videos to make and not enough time. You know, true crime, you're never short of a subject, that's for sure. So, by which name were the serial killers Kenneth Bianchi and Angelo Buono known before their identities were discovered by the police in 1978? You know, in the 70s and 80s, it was like the golden age for serial killers, wasn't it? There were so many of them because they weren't getting caught. Like now, I honestly think, would a serial killer even get past their first kill now? Because, you know, there's so much with the DNA and the data technology, and there's probably a lot of killers that get caught that may have ended up, you know, being serial killers. But if the police would have had the things at their disposal then that they've got now, most of these killers would have been caught much sooner, I think. But yes, so Kenneth Bianchi and Angelo Buono. I think Kenneth Bianchi is still alive, but Angelo Buono, he died in prison. And they were known, if you got the Hillside Strangler, that's what they were known as, because in the beginning the police did not know that it was 2 people, you know, so they were called the Hillside Strangler, but in fact there were 2 of them. So if you got the Hillside Strangler, give yourself a point. Yeah, I don't think it'd stop an amethyst, as you say, because they almost can't help it, can they? But I think it stops them at least early in their tracks. Okay, I think you'll all guess this one. So give yourself a point if you. I can't remember if I gave myself a point now for that. So I'm going to give myself another one. I'd rather have one more point than one less point. So, which serial killer's intelligence, charm, and good looks were emphasized in media coverage of his murder trial in Florida in 1978? I think you'll all know this one. So was it Charles Manson? Was it Ted Bundy? Was it the Happy Face Killer? Or was it Norman Bates? So, which serial killer's intelligence, charm and good looks were emphasized in media coverage of his murder trial in Florida in 1978? Was it Charles Manson? Was it Ted Bundy? Was it the Happy Face Killer? Or was it Norman Bates? Yeah. Everybody's got that right. It was Ted Bundy. Good old Ted. Okay, next one. We're coming near the end of it now, so you'll be able to tot up your points and see if you've won soon. Let's see. Oh, that one's too easy. I'm not going to do that one. Oh, go on, I'll do it because they get an extra point, won't you? Which serial killer styled himself the Son of Sam? Was it John Wayne Gacy, Samuel Jeffries, David Berkowitz, or Ted Bundy? So, which serial killer styled himself Son of Sam? John Wayne Gacy, Samuel Jeffries, David Berkowitz, or Ted Bundy? I know that one, so I'm giving myself a point. Just ran that half point. Yeah. I might just give myself another half point just because I'm the judge and I can. No, I'm not. I am currently on 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 29. 32 and a half, I think I've got so far. So give yourself a point if you got Dale Winton. Nobody ever hears about Dale Winton anymore. He didn't. Did he die, Dale Winton? What happened to Dale Winton? I don't know what happened to him. What happened to Dale Winton? Anyway, the answer is David Berkowitz. So have you got David Berkowitz for that? Oh, Desi 22. That's really good. Oh, did he die? Ah, oh, bless him. What? I don't remember that. Anyway. Now, oh, this is an interesting one. So who was the first known American serial killer? Who was the first known American serial killer? Got a choice of 4. You've got William Hare, you've got Edward Walton, you've got Harry Haywood, or H.H. Holmes. And I knew that one because he did come up before. He has come up before in this quiz. This has come up before in this quiz. The first known American serial killer, yeah. So, William Hare, Edward Walton, Harry Haywood, or H.H. Holmes. Remember the murder castle we talked about earlier, didn't we? Yeah. H.H. Holmes. So, if you got H.H. Holmes, give yourself a point. Remember, it was the murder castle. Now, this next one. Oh, were you wrong, Julie? This next one, this was another film. I think most of these, I must have started my interest in true crime when I was very young, because I used to watch all these old films. This is a very good film with Tony Curtis. Remember Tony Curtis? Very handsome. Anyway, let me read the question out. Which serial killer of 11 women in 1962 to 1964 was eventually identified as Albert DeSalvo? So which serial killer of 11 women in 1962 to 64 was eventually identified as Albert DeSalvo? Your choices are the Green River Killer, the Monster of Milwaukee, the Boston Strangler, or the Southside Slayer. So I'm giving myself a point there because I knew it. Have you seen the film with Tony Curtis? Yeah, most people seem to know the answer to that. The Boston Strangler. Yeah, the Boston Strangler. So if you got the Boston Strangler, give yourself a point. Oh, this is interesting. I don't know the answer to this. Which serial killer's crimes inspired Alfred Hitchcock's 1927 film, The Lodger? Which serial killer's crimes inspired Alfred Hitchcock's film in 1927, The Lodger? So there's a choice of 4. It's either Jack the Ripper, Bruno Ludke, Peter Curtin, or William Burke. Now, I don't know the answer to this one, but I think it's just got to be Jack the Ripper, because the choices are Jack the Ripper, Bruno Ludke, Peter Curtin, and William Burke. But Alfred Hitchcock, I mean, the film The Lodger, I don't think I know if I've actually seen the film, but I would imagine it's set in Britain, in London or whatever, if it was Alfred Hitchcock. Bruno Ludke is not British and Peter Curtin's not British. So the only 2 that were British is Jack the Ripper and William Burke. And I don't think Burke, was he a serial killer? William Burke, is this Burke and Hare? I thought he was a grave robber. I didn't know, so anyway, I would guess Jack the Ripper. I'm going for Jack the Ripper, just because he's British. And I don't know about William Burke. So that's a guess. Let's have a look. Yeah, there you go, Jack the Ripper. So if you guess Jack the Ripper for that one, give yourself a point. I'm sure yeah. I'm sure I'm sure after time, I can't remember if I've written my point down or not, so I just write it down again. I'll probably end up with about 350 points. But it is Jack the Ripper. So there you go, Mello. You can trust me. Hatchback Wesley. Wesley, you do make me laugh. Yeah, Burke and Hare were grave robbers, so I don't know if William Burke is another person. No, they might not know if Jack the Ripper was British, but he was killing in London. So that's what I'm saying. Just to me, whoever this person would be, it'd be a London connection, not these not in Germany or whatever. But anyway, that was my logic, and it's correct sometimes. You know what, women's intuition, it's always spot on. Now, you'll all get this one. I'm positive you'll all get this one. Which serial killer of boys and young men performed as Pogo the Clown at charitable events and children's parties? He always comes up in all the quizzes, this guy. Which serial killer of boys and all the quizzes about serial killers. Which serial killer of boys and young men performed as Pogo the Clown at charitable events and children's parties? Was it Ted Bundy? Was it Ed Gein? Was it Jeffrey Dahmer? Or was it John Wayne Gacy? Yeah, we know this one, don't we? We know this one. So if you got John Wayne Gacy, give yourself a point. Right, I think you'll know this one as well. Unfortunately, he's infamous. Which serial anyway, I won't tell you that yet. Which serial killer and doctor murdered at least 215 middle-aged and elderly people by injecting them with overdoses of painkillers? Yeah, we know the answer. We don't even need the choices, do we? We know this one, unfortunately. No, from my neck of the woods, from Manchester, and or Greater Manchester. And my cousin worked in his doctor's surgery. Worked with him. Said she always thought he just didn't like women because he was a very arrogant man. So Harold Shipman. Yep. Unfortunately, not exactly the best thing to come out of Manchester. Well, like the Moors murderers as well. We've had quite a few infamous cases in Manchester, which is a bit worrying. Okay, there are 2 questions left. So, which serial killer was the inspiration for the character Leatherface in the 1974 film, The Texas Chainsaw? Can't even say it now, too much wine now. Put my teeth in. Which serial killer was the inspiration for the character Leatherface in the 1974 film, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Was it Luis Garavito, H.H. Holmes, the Rio Grande Killer, or Ed Gein? Who was the inspiration for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Luis Garavito, H.H. Holmes. I've never seen that film, actually. I know I would not like that film, so I've just never watched it. The Rio Grande Killer, because although I like true crime and that, I don't like gory things at all. Or Ed Gein. I think we probably know this, do we? Charlie, a great movie. I wouldn't believe, Charlie, that you would like that kind of film. I don't like gory films. I like suspense, but I like the psychological dramas and things. I don't like to watch about blood and dismemberment and stuff like that. But of course, it was Ed Gein, and he was a real person, wasn't he? Who used to sort of make lampshades out of human skin and things like that. Horrible man. Hey, Katrina. Oh, we're nearly finished now. Yeah, we've had a good evening. Yeah, I don't like those kind of films. I just don't like. I like horror films, but I like to be scared. Like people like, but I don't like all blood and gore and that. I don't like that. So anyway. So if you got it, now I can't remember if I wrote my point down or not. So I'm going to write it down again. I don't think I did. So just in case I didn't write my point down, I'm writing it down again. It's better to have one too many than not enough. Okay, this is the last question. I don't think I've got any more up there. No, last question. God, it's been just over 2 hours, but it's been fun. You never think a true crime quiz would be fun. Which serial killer of boys and young men tried to turn his victims into zombies by drilling holes in their heads? Oh, God. I think this is why I haven't covered this case yet as well, because it's just so horrific. while they were still alive and injecting hydrochloric acid or boiling water into their brains. So the question is, which serial killer of boys and young men tried to turn his victims into zombies by drilling holes in their heads while they were still alive and injecting hydrochloric acid into or boiling water into their brains? Now, I know this one, so I'm writing my point down now. It's not a cheat now, I'm writing my point down now. I definitely know this. So your choices are Bruno Ludke. He keeps coming up, Bruno Ludke. I don't know anything about him. Jeffrey Dahmer, William Hare, or Ted Bundy? Does anybody know? Katrina's saying Hannibal. We know Hannibal was not a real person, Katrina. I love that film, actually, Silence of the Lambs, one of my favourite films of all time, because it's got Anthony Hopkins in it, probably because he's one of my favourite actors of all time. And he's just so, and Jodie Foster, I like her as well. And that film, oh my God, when that came out, it had such an impact. It is, mate, it's got a bit of gore in it, I know, but most of it is suspenseful, isn't it? You know, I love that suspenseful, and Anthony Hopkins was just so brilliant, wasn't he? Oh my God, I think I've got a mosquito here somewhere. So who was it? It was, of course, Jeffrey Dahmer. Now, did you see the Netflix series about Jeffrey Dahmer? Oh my God. If you haven't seen it, you should watch it. It's so good. The acting, I get the guy who plays Dahmer, my God, because I've seen Dahmer being interviewed and his father being interviewed. All the characters are spot on, exactly how they really are. And you know, Jeffrey Dahmer, he got away with it for so long because he rented a place in a black neighborhood, and he would, you know, he was like a sort of, you know, respectable white guy in this neighborhood, and he was believed always by the police. It's just horrible. You know, he should have been caught so much quicker because his victims were ethnic minorities, you know. And I mean, they found one lad outside, like all, and he could have been rescued, and then he took him back in. They let the police let him take him back into the house. So yeah, but it's a very interesting series and a very well made series. But oh my God, you know, it is terrifying. It is terrifying. But it's good, a good series. Very well acted. Yeah, very well acted. Okay, so it's time to count up your points. How many points have you got? I have got, let's have a look. I've got 5, 10, 15. I've got 39.5 points. Heather's got 20. Julie's got 12. Oh, that's better than you had earlier, Julie. Desi's done well with 29. DMV, you missed half of it. Rio's got 14. Charlie's got 24. Simon's got 2. That many, Simon, that many. I may have slightly less than that because I don't know, some of them might have duplicated my point. But anyway, Laurie's still on shipment. It's funny seeing her now. It's funny sometimes on the chat, you see someone come up with a comment, you can tell they're on catch up. Anyway, well, we had fun, didn't we? We had a bit of fun, you know. It's a little bit of a relief from the endless sort of mystery. Oh my God. Amethyst had 26. Well done. Yeah, David hasn't said how many he's got. Maybe he hasn't been keeping a record. Yeah. Well, it's nice because we all had a little laugh, even though, you know, shouldn't be laughing about serial killers, really, I suppose. But, you know what? If you didn't laugh in this mad world, you'd just go crazy, wouldn't you? Sometimes I think that sometimes you've got to have a little bit of black humour, you know, a little bit of graveyard humour, because otherwise you just wouldn't get through, would you? You know, it's just like sometimes you just think, God, you know, if you did not laugh, you would cry. So you may as well laugh. Yeah, I think David's probably done well, but he's keeping very quiet. He's probably gone to walk the dogs. Well, DMV, if you had 7 when you left, give yourself another set. Oh, and you didn't keep count when you come back. See, then you could have, you know, kept count when you come back, and then you could have had another 7, you know. You'll have to watch it back and see how many you would have got. Yeah, I think David's gone to take the dogs for a walk or something. Anyway, he didn't ask permission though. He's not, you know, he's not really allowed to do that. But anyway, oh, he never kept. Oh, he's there. He is. He never kept count. Okay. So I'm going to finish there. I'll be back tomorrow with more of the madness from the world of true crime. You know, see what's happening. What will have anything more have transpired in poor Sebastian? Where is he? You know, meantime, the family's still arguing all between themselves. The bloody silly new PR guy isn't doing much for PR, really. He's just criticising everybody and swearing on YouTube channels. Do you know what? The madness continues as far as the circus continues as far as Sebastian's concerned. You know, and Seth's mum's like going on social media and saying this, that, and the other. But anyway, we'll see. Tomorrow we'll find out what the latest is and see if there's been any developments. But sleep well. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you so much to Mello, who gifted a membership to an Audibod, is the recipient of that membership. Thank you, Mello, that's so kind. And thank you to Julie, who made a super chat. Thank you so much for that as well. Very much appreciated. But thank you to all of you for being here, and those of you that are watching at home. I know some of you will have been playing along at home but don't like to join in the chat. I know it's not for everyone. And good night to all the replay crew. People will be watching this on anyway. You know, it's just interesting. You can play at home with yourself and count up how many you get right. Are you a true crime aficionado? Are you? Okay, so I'll see you really soon in the next video. Remember to live and love wisely and carefully. See you soon in the next video. And until then, may your God always go with you. Bye.